Okay, today we're diving into a really powerful idea from Faith Womack's book. It's this one simple shift in how you see things, kind of like putting on a new pair of reading glasses. And honestly, it could completely change the way you read and understand the Bible. You know that feeling when you open up the Bible, you start reading, and you just feel like you're, I don't know, missing something. The words are on the page, sure, but the real meaning feels kind of blurry, just out of reach. Well, if you've ever felt that way, you are definitely not alone. So many of us end up just squinting our way through scripture, trying so hard to see what we think we're supposed to see. So, to really explain this feeling, the author tells this amazing story about her little 3-year-old son, Sutton. And for the longest time, his family had absolutely no idea that he was really struggling just to see the world right in front of him. He had all these little quirks, you know? He'd stand like inches from the TV, he'd have a really hard time with stairs, and his parents, they just thought, oh, that's just Sutton, that's his personality. But the truth was, his little brain literally couldn't make sense of the blurry images he was seeing. All he needed was a pair of glasses to finally bring everything into focus. And that story just perfectly illustrates the risk we run when we open the Bible. See, just like one of Sutton's eyes was doing all the heavy lifting, making him basically half blind, when we read scripture with the wrong approach, we can miss out on all of its true, rich meaning. We end up with this blurry, totally incomplete picture. All right, so what's causing this blurry vision for us? Well, the book points to a really common, but really fundamental mistake in how we approach the Bible. It's something we can call the me-centric mistake. And check this out, this really shows the disconnect perfectly. On the left, you've got how we usually read. We come to the Bible with our questions, right? Should I take this job? Should I date this person? What does this mean for me? It's all about us. But then you look at the right side, the Bible's actual story is God-centric. It's about his big redemptive plan, about revealing his character, about his glory. We're showing up looking for our own story, but the book is telling his. I love this quote from the book. It hits the nail on the head. Going to the Bible only looking for solutions to our problems is manipulating it to be our own story. Wow. I mean, when we treat the Bible like it's some kind of magic 8-ball for our own personal drama, we're not really engaging with it at all. We're just trying to force it to be about us. We're basically hijacking the whole story. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get our vision corrected? Simple. We need a new prescription. We need that new pair of reading glasses that's going to let us see the Bible for what it actually is. And this new prescription, it's all about one major shift in focus. It's a lens that takes the spotlight off of me and puts it right back where it belongs, on him, on God. So here it is. This is the new prescription. The author makes the case that the entire Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, can be summed up in this one incredible sentence. The Bible is the story of God redeeming his people for his glory. That one idea, that's the lens for everything. So what's the bottom line? The crucial point is this. We are not the main characters of the Bible. And as soon as we can accept that, everything changes. Suddenly, all that pressure to find ourselves on every single page is just gone. And we're finally free to see the real main character of the story, God. Now, this leads to a really, really important distinction. Just because the Bible isn't about you, that doesn't mean it isn't for you. Let's break down what that actually looks like. Okay, let's take the story of Ruth, for example. If we're reading with that blurry, me-centric vision, we might just see a simple moral tale. Hey, be a good girl like Ruth and you'll get a husband as a reward, right? But when we put on our new 2020 glasses, we see a story that is so much deeper. It's actually a story about God's amazing provision for Naomi, who was left with nothing after her husband mistrusted God and left home during a famine. It's a story of God's huge redemptive plan in action. And this, right here, is the key takeaway. The Bible is 100% for you, is for your encouragement, for your instruction, for your transformation. But it is not primarily about you. It's about him. And man, understanding that difference is it's so freeing. So what do you get for putting on these new glasses? What's the payoff? It's the freedom, and honestly, the excitement that comes when you can finally see the whole, absolutely breathtaking picture. The moment you stop trying to cram yourself into the center of every single story, you're free from what the author calls the shackles of me-centric reading. You stop getting so frustrated when you can't find a verse that tells you exactly what to do about your job because you realize you're looking for something so much bigger. And this quote really sums it up.
Friend, the Bible is not just an old, dead, boring book. It is alive and active. This whole perspective just brings the text to life. It stops being some dusty, ancient rulebook and becomes what it always was, alive, active, and powerful. A massive, unfolding story that's just as relevant today as it's ever been. So here's the cool part. Shifting the focus away from me doesn't kick you out of the story. No way. It actually places you right inside it. You become a character in this huge cosmic drama that is so much bigger and richer and more meaningful than a story that's just about you could ever be. You get to find your part in God's epic redemptive plan.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you pick up the Bible, just try it. Try putting on this new pair of glasses. Instead of your first question being, what does this mean for me? Start by asking, what does this show me about God? With these new glasses on, what are you going to see?